Hey, my name is Elsa. I just got back from a 4-day, 3-night backpacking trip on the Smoky Mountains section of the Appalachian Trail with my friend Allie and her mom Stacy. This was my first overnight backpacking trip ever. I live full-time in this 13-foot scamp trailer, so I'm experienced with camping, the backcountry, cooking outside, hiking, and I wear a backpack all the time. But I've never put it all together, let alone for 42 miles straight. That's right, we hiked 42 miles in 4 days. Here's the plan. I begin at the scamp on the coast of Oregon, drive to Portland, and stay with my sister, who then takes me to the Portland airport where I fly to Kansas City to meet up with Allie and Stacy. At 5 a.m. the next morning, we drive 13 hours to the eastern edge of Tennessee to an Airbnb. We then get up at 5 a.m. again to drive the car to the last point of our hike and take a shuttle to the start of the hike. We hike, and we hike, and we hike, and we hike, and we keep on hiking. Then we stayed in an Airbnb. Allie and Stacy drop me off at the airport to fly back to Portland, and they drive back to Kansas City. A lot of mileage packed into not a lot of days. Eric picked us up. He was 30 minutes early, so we rushed to get ready and left in his shuttle. He told us all about how not to get injured, why not to get injured, and shared his knowledge on plants, fungi, and wildlife. Apparently, there are blue mushrooms on the trail that bleed purple, pink mushrooms you can pop like zits, and that mycelium will keep dead tree stumps alive. As well as a seasoned Appalachian Trail guide, Eric's most interesting bit of info was his hiking warm-up regimen. Hike 15 minutes hideously slow. If you're not dying to push the person in front of you out of the way, you're going too fast. Hike 15 minutes very slow. Your original slow pace should only have increased slightly as your body and muscles become warmer.
So 15 minutes hideously slow, 15 minutes very, very slow. You've been on the trail now 30 minutes. It's time for your first break.
At 30 minutes, stop and take a butt break for no less than 5 minutes. Eric said there was science behind this. I don't remember what it was, but none of us got hurt the entire hike. After your butt break, begin dynamic bouncing stretches, helping to warm up the muscles, preparing them for the strain of the day of backpacking. Focus especially on hip flexor stretches. This will help prevent knee injuries. Rolling out the ankles is also very important.
Rolling.
For the rest of the hike, take a 5-minute butt break every hour, no matter what. The trail was almost entirely uphill, stair after stair after stair, but I felt great. I thought I might have been experiencing hiker's high, which I've never heard of, but maybe is similar to runner's high. I just couldn't stop. At times I even wanted to run. I had anticipated so much struggle, but being out in nature with everything I needed to survive right there on my back, and my only prerogative being to walk, was an extremely freeing and enjoyable experience.
Chicken of the woods. We won't be eating this one.
For lunch, I had a homemade almond butter squeeze pouch and an Epic bar. The Epic bar is a meat bar. It's definitely different than jerky, but a great way to get some protein on the trail. To make the squeeze pouches, I mixed almond butter, too much maple syrup, not enough cinnamon, and some salt, and filled some kids' squeeze pouches I found on Amazon. I wanted to try these homemade squeeze pouches inspired by those single-use nut butter packets in an effort to produce as little waste on the trail as possible.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
These never leaked for me with something thick and gel-like inside. Allie and Stacy filled a couple with tequila, and sadly they leaked, so be warned.
It doesn't smell like much.
Nah.
Not good.
It was interesting noticing my thoughts. When I was tired, I'd start thinking negatively and stressed. I'd catch myself, stop, put my hands on my heart, and remind myself of why I'm so grateful. Months of prep went into this. And here it is happening right now. Enjoy it. Probably have like 0.2 miles left. The left side of my knee hurts and my right ankle hurts. It started hurting after going downhill, the impact being so hard on my knees and ankles. I found this really cute feather and I'm just holding it out in front of me, trying to hold my hands up so they don't swell. I carried around nuts for over 5 miles, an acorn and a buckeye. I kept them in the crease between my index and middle fingers on both hands. It felt like they were giving me energy. I tossed them just before the shelter, but kept the 3 feathers I found.
We made it! Oh, good.
So, this shelter, the first shelter on our trip, had been closed all summer long due to dangerous bear activity. Because of this closure, we had been planning on tent camping somewhere off the trail and walking in at a later point, meaning we'd miss a few miles of the Appalachian Trail, but as we were driving out to Tennessee, the Smoky Mountain website said the shelter had been opened.
I'm super excited. Now I got
We were the very first people to stay there upon its opening.
Cool, I had no idea what this would be like. These are to hang your packs, and then you hang your food down there on bear bags.
I got this Sawyer mini water filter instead of my Grail because the Grail is so heavy. And I attached this. I'm gonna fill it into my camelback. It's pretty slow, but for just one person, it's really not a big deal to do this. If it were Baron and I think I'd probably take something different. For dinner, we made coconut curry. I started by soaking my dehydrated veggies in hot water, then adding dehydrated shiitake mushrooms. Wrong. Don't even use dehydrated mushrooms. They take forever to rehydrate. I added some coconut oil to the water for a little fat and flavor, and once the veggies seemed hydrated enough, I added the couscous and took it off the heat to soak. This is my packet of homemade curry sauce. I mixed 2 teaspoons of curry paste. Wrong. I should have used double. Not enough ginger powder, and 2 tablespoons of dehydrated coconut milk. I mixed all of it together and put it in this little bag, then used half of that to stir into my mush. It's a solid 5 out of 10. I would wait until I'd wait until I master this recipe before you try it. This meal was very sorely missing a bouillon cube, or salt of any kind. Allie and Stacy made the same meal but using curry powder instead of curry paste. The meals were okay, but after a day like that, it didn't matter what we were eating. We put the rest of our food and our cookware into our bear bags and then hung them up. Bears can still smell this food, but if they can't reach it and aren't rewarded with food, they leave and search elsewhere. It's important to never leave food in the shelter. If bears do get into human food, they will always come back, causing Forest Service to have to trap and relocate the animal or sometimes kill it. We then got into bed and tried to get some sleep. I was in a lot of pain and soreness and couldn't get comfortable. My sleeping pad may have been too hard, and any move you make, crinkly and squeaky, wakes up the whole damn forest. I may have gotten a couple hours of sleep. We were all very attentive of potential bear intruders through the night. This morning I need to stretch. My knee hurts something fierce.
And there was a lot of scurrying, wasn't there?
Like over and over sometimes. Back and forth as though there were some mice like fighting or something.
Got in around 7 p.m. Been a year at sea level. Lungs still catching up. Suffered a heat injury. Stopping as a thunderstorm was rolling in. Sorry, Ranger Greg. I'll take my chances on the top bunk with these stones and the tomahawk. Please forgive me. I pray to Tom Cruise no bears come. Well, worst night so far. Vomiting and cramps all through the night. No sleep. Must keep moving. Must get out of aggressive bear country and lay up for a day or two. Bear came into the shelter, but ran off after a lot of yelling and banging. Good luck to those who come after. You too, Greg.
Elsa successfully camped here with no bear visits. Little sleep on account of reading previous entries, but alas, I am alive and still have all my food. Privy's a luxury, bear bag hangers are great. My first time on the AT. Will I make it out alive? Stay tuned. Day 2 of 4. We said goodbye to our shelter and began day 2 with our slow warm-up routine.
Try Corner Knob Shelter, 7.6 miles.
It was a shorter hiking day, only 7.6 miles, so we took it slow with long breaks. We even had service on parts of the trail.
And you have actually tasted these.
These are chicken out of the woods.
Yeah, and they've got the spongy butt. Oops, sorry.
That's okay. Remember, that's good for him, actually. He said that this is just the reproductive organ, and the mycelium is underground. And when you break it, you release like way more spores than it could ever do on its own.
Great.
So, that makes you feel a little less guilty.
So you broke off its reproductive organ. I don't think that should make you feel
Yeah, but it will grow back. It'll grow
make
it.
you feel more guilty.
This hike was not nearly as strenuous as yesterday. Half the day was nicely cloudy, perfect temperature. Some stairs, nice inclines and declines, but very rocky.
Do you think about the things we used to do? No, you couldn't stand tall.
It's starting.
So why didn't you?
We stopped and covered our packs with rain covers and put on our rain jackets.
Gone by. But I think about you all the time. Looks like you're changing and all. Look, why didn't you call?
The second half of the day was epic. Moss covered everything. We were in a thick cloud walking in the rain through dense forest. Tons of mushrooms I couldn't identify. My feet were a little wet, but thankfully not cold, so no need for socks. I'm very used to wearing my chacos and didn't have any problems slipping or sliding on wet rocks.
Have you ever seen her?
We made it 7.6 miles to try Corner Knob Shelter around 5:15 p.m. There are about 12 people in this shelter, a stark contrast to our solo shelter last night.
I appreciate that.
People in the shelter are interesting. There's ego in the air.
Oh, wow.
People love to boast and spill their experience levels. I started filtering my water and a guy asked if I like my water filter. I said yes, it's new to me. He informed me that my water filter is not a great water filter and told me all the benefits of his water filter. In every sport, there are extremely confident people like this. Sports are competitive. I was feeling especially insecure as a first-time backpacker, despite my true competence in the forest. It's all been very interesting to observe. I'm eager to go to sleep, get out of here, and get on with our hike.
Talking about sports glories. Not very much. Did you say you did a marathon in 150? No, half marathon. Oh, okay. Not that cool. Like, wow.
Slept better. I was cold and I woke up every 2 hours. Something about sleeping in a room full of people that makes you less afraid of bears.
Everything that like a lot of cultures have is a trickster god.
Anyone?
We got on the trail at 9 a.m. with all our warm gear on and rain jackets. Socks and chacos have worked well. I have tape on my toes. Lots of people have commented in surprise about my chacos, so I've self-appointed my own trail name, Chaco. The hike was wet and directly through a cloud all day long. We kept shedding and adding layers. If we stopped for more than a minute or two, we'd get cold from how damp our clothes and bodies were from the air. This third day was our longest day yet, with 13.5 miles and 2 days of hiking already under our belts. You've got a lot of time to think on the trail. I thought a lot about food. I woke up in the night really hungry, a sign my body's been working super hard. Here's all the food I took on the trip. 3 cups of granola and 3 tablespoons of dehydrated coconut milk for 3 breakfasts, homemade protein bars, banana chips, cacao and coconut oil, almond butter squeeze pouches, 4 Epic bars for 4 lunches, trail mix, and enough coconut curry couscous for 2 nights. Allie and Stacy made the noodle dinner last night and brought extra for me, and Stacy carried the coffee. It all fit in these 2 bags, and by the way, each of these plastic bags were recycled bags I brought from our collection in the Scamp. I was a little worried I wouldn't have enough food on the trail. Seeing myself eat only an Epic bar and some almond butter for lunch every day has me thinking I wasn't eating enough. But 1, this is some dense, fueling food. And 2, I'm not usually hungry when my body's in motion, just thirsty. It's when I've been stopped for a while that my hunger kicks in. I didn't feel myself eating any of my snacks because it's not very interesting, but I did feel myself making my protein bars. There's no science to it. I made my own recipe using ingredients I had with no specific measurements. There are millions of protein bar recipes on the internet if you work better that way. I was after a sticky consistency so that my bars would hold up on the trail. It was still too crumbly, so I added some extra maple syrup and almond butter. And when that still wasn't sticky enough, I added a little water and it was perfect. I added a little bit of 100% cacao for its mood and energy boosting properties. And I stuck all that in the fridge. I cut that into bars and stored it in some of this reusable wax paper, which, by the way, got ruined in the heat.
Weird. What's this weird? Do you see that? It's like little swirlies.
Oh, weird. Looks like
a bug.
Yeah.
It's like rock solid. Like I could rip it off, but.
Look at the view! It's beautiful.
All our views were covered by white clouds, which was kind of a bummer, but really beautiful at the same time. At the end of the day, we arrived at the shelter to blue skies.
She's excited.
And 6 dudes from Alabama with heavy southern draws building a fire.
Who cares about one thing?
Yeah.
This is so much better with the cube. The cube.
No, it's
Now that it's open,
Cosby was nice. Yeah. Are you gonna go then?
No, well, we're actually going. We were going from here to Tri-Corner, but then we changed the reservation. Yeah, and that's what we were going to do.
Coming up the first day from.
Yeah, I have mine from there. You still got 4 bars here?
We slept the best the 3rd night. I always have to get up and pee from all the water we drink each day, or I wake up numb or in pain or cold, or have to loudly reposition. Even without those things occurring, sleeping on what feels like a pool floaty with an inflatable pillow is something that takes a while to get used to.
Everyone keeps adding miles to it.
This picture is a picture of Allie taking a picture of Elsa, taking a picture of Stacy taking a picture.
3 miles into our last day's hike, we began to notice more and more people. Day hikers of all ages and skill levels. Soon we came out of the forest to an abrupt change in scenery, a parking lot swarming with people.
Get us out of here.
We were approached by a number of people in dismay about our 4 days on the trail. The day prior, the hikers at the second shelter made us feel like noobs on the trail fighting to stay alive. And the tourists at this viewpoint made us feel like backcountry professionals. Neither judgment accurate. Over the span of these 4 days, we've hiked on big loose rocks, small gravel-like rocks, loose dirt, soft fir needles, wet boulders, huge fallen tree stumps, around puddles, and under a great dome of trees. It's been amazing.
Crazy. I know there's a thing called runner's high. I've never experienced it, but I am convinced there's a hiker's high. I can't stop. I'm like full speed ahead up these stairs, which are everywhere. The last 1.7 miles is a 1,000 foot elevation increase, and I am having the time of my life.
Each day we hike, the miles feel shorter and shorter, and my body feels stronger, which baffles me as I've never put my body through so much continuous, strenuous activity. How I don't slow down more and more, but rather feel better and better each day is beyond me.
When I get home, I'm gonna sleep for 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's where we
We've made it!
I'm so excited. Oh my god.
I was surprisingly emotional today as I got on the plane back to Oregon. Despite my blisters, sore body, and tired mind, I had some of the most fun I've ever had outdoors during that hike. It was the task of carrying all I needed to survive on my back, walking through nature from the day's start to its end, observing my varying thoughts that accompanied my varying energy levels, and having no responsibilities but to convince my body to continue, which ended up being simple. If you liked this video of my first ever backpacking experience, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. If you've got any questions about the gear I packed for this hike, I cover it all in my first time backpacker gear video. Thanks so much for watching.